Welcome to Foundations of Emo, hosted by Claire and Danny. Each episode we take one of our favourite bands and dive deep into their history and origins, reminiscing on our own emo roots along the way.
Yay! I feel like you did that really slow. I was like, come on.
I kind of was like, I had an urge to laugh during it, but I managed not to.
Oh, is it so hard not to laugh during it?
It's so hard. It's like being at a funeral.
Yes, hilarious. So, any news, Claire?
Well, maybe I might have signed contracts today to be getting an apartment.
Claire is buying an apartment. She's putting all of the rest of us to shame.
It's very scary being an adult. And also, like, the amount of stuff you realise you don't know. Like, I know nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
I know nothing. I signed them today and they're like, sign that page, and sign that page, and sign this page. I'm like, what is this? What am I signing? And it's all very confusing. And then they do like a mock account of like, basically this is all the money you have to pay. I'm like, where am I getting this money from? But it's okay, I'm getting it from the bank, but it's fine. But it feels like fake money.
Yeah.
It's never actually mine. Like, it goes straight to someone else. So it's like, it just feels like Monopoly. I'm like, it's just a number. It's fine.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. So maybe we'll record a podcast from my new place.
Her new abode.
Yeah.
That is really exciting.
Any news with you?
I didn't have any news. We didn't go to Blink. Neither of us did.
No.
Thankfully.
I never had a ticket, but the amount of people who were like, are you not going to that? Like, no. I just find them childish.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I've seen them a couple of times before, and it was this thing I had in my head that I was like, oh, if I'm going to go see them, I'm going to have to like listen to them loads in the lead up, and I didn't want to do that. And I was like, well, then obviously I don't want to see them.
Yeah. Like, you'd like to see a few songs. Like, I'm sure it'd be good to hear certain songs live, but like, I'd almost feel bad buying a ticket and being like, I just want to hear all the small things.
I feel like the night of, I think every single person that I've ever followed on Instagram was there.
Yeah.
Like, my entire Instagram feed was just people at the concert. But even like people, and this is no shade at like anyone in particular, if this is you, but it would be like someone would post a selfie of them and their friends at the gig and they'd put all the small things over it, and then someone else would do it and put Feeling This, and I just kept being like, oh, that song. Oh,
yeah.
That song. And it's no offense to anyone who used those songs, but I was like, all the songs are so obvious and I don't want to hear any of them.
Somebody was telling me, I can't remember who it was, that there's a video of where they pulled a fan up on stage to like sing a song with them, and she didn't know the song, so she just started singing all the small things, and they were like, get off the stage.
Oh my god, that's so
I was
embarrassing.
like, that'd be me.
I only know one song.
But yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, no,
Like,
everyone
people
seemed to
have
have a really good time,
great
so
yeah.
good for them.
Because I suppose they've been waiting so long to go to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to me, because I bought my ticket like 4 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And then I came around and I was like, I don't really want to go.
So our next one is Census Fail.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mention that in every episode until we go.
I'd say we only have about 2 more episodes before we go.
Every episode after, because it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to see Census Fail and Saves the Day in Birmingham.
Birmingham. Is that how you say it? Yeah?
Sure. I think we both did terrible impressions there.
That's it anyway.
But before we get into today's episode, I did a little play around with AI again, because everybody was doing that thing on Instagram where they asked AI to roast their feed. And I just got it in my head that I was going to ask AI to roast the podcast.
I'm so excited to hear this.
I didn't feed them anything. I didn't like take any screenshots or like send them anything. I just said, will you roast the Foundations of Emo podcast for me? And they managed to find us online and they roasted it perfectly. So I thought I would read that out for you.
I'm excited. I'll probably start crying, but it's fine.
So, you're listening to the Foundations of Emo podcast. Wow, that's a bold move. I didn't realise anyone was still on a quest to relive their high school heartbreaks. I'm pretty sure this show is just an elaborate way to prove that eyeliner and angsty lyrics are eternal, like the unending cycle of MySpace friend requests you still haven't responded to.
I mean, they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. Listening to these hosts is like being at a reunion of emo kids who never left 2007, except now they're just trying to justify why they still have all that band merch, which is so spot on. But hey, at least they're helping us remember that the real foundation of emo is built on awkward nostalgia, questionable haircuts, and the undying belief that life is just one long Taken Back Sunday song. Keep up the good work, Foundations of Emo. You're doing a great job making sure nobody ever forgets what it feels like to be misunderstood by your parents. I love it so much.
I hope we are. I hope we are doing a good job of making you all feel like that.
Don't worry, no one understands us either.
I'm okay with that. I mean, it's pretty spot on though. It's kind of what we're doing.
Hilarious. I really enjoyed that. It was so hard not to send it to you at the time because I wanted you to hear it on the podcast.
Yeah, you sent it to me and I was like, that is a genius idea. I fucking love AI.
We've been well and truly roasted. So will we get into the episode?
Yes.
Today we're talking about Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, if anyone remembers them. Face down.
I'm excited to hear where they got their name from. You better be telling me.
Yeah, get ready. Childhood friends Ronnie Winter and Duke Kitchens started the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus in Middleburg, Florida, while attending an AP music theory class in 2001. In an interview with Ronnie, he said that the class was very small, and whenever they were finished with the day's lesson, the band director would allow them free time to do what they pleased. Ronnie stated that he and Duke would bust out their acoustic guitars and just jam and sing along to bands like Blink-182. He said, I mean, this was back in 2001, so it was still like the MXPX kind of vibe. So we would just goof around and play songs to pass the time, and then it slowly turned into me and Duke starting a band. They wrote and rehearsed songs for 18 months until some friends heard what they had written and urged them to make the songs public.
Totally unrelated, but I was listening to a podcast during the week and they were talking about Arkansas. And the host was like, why is it spelled Arkansas? I was like, oh, I know, right? So it's not just
got me too. So the band officially started in 2003 with Ronnie on vocals and Duke on guitar and piano, and the addition of other members, Thomas Amison on lead guitar, Thomas Worth on bass, and Dan Wagler on drums. Of the band name, which Ronnie referred to as the dumbest band name in the world, he said, everyone in the band had been in previous bands and we were just over the band name process. So we kind of just threw some words up on a board, everybody voted, and Red Jumpsuit Apparatus won. Completely random.
They definitely just stuck it into that band name generator.
Yeah, probably.
That is what happened.
The band self-released a 6-song demo in 2004 that was spread throughout different countries to help promote them. They used social media, mainly MySpace, to advertise their music, and they began to grow a bit of a following. While they were popular locally, they found it difficult to find any support from labels, and so took 18 months to work on writing songs before going into the live scene. Their fan base, built from these live shows, attracted the attention of Jason FLOM. FLOM.
Oh, we need to make a list of like the best names we've had on this.
FLOM.
That is one of them. FLOM.
Can you please marry someone whose surname is FLOM?
What is FLOM?
Claire FLOM.
Mr. and Mrs. FLOM.
Sounds like you've got phlegm, but you're like really posh. Oh, sorry guys, just got a bit of phlegm. Oh, sorry. So, their fan base attracted the attention of Jason FLOM from Virgin Records, and they then started working on their first album. In March 2006, they posted the song Face Down on their MySpace page and released a music video 3 days later. The song peaked at number 24 in the United States and number 4 in New Zealand. It tied with 30 Seconds to Mars The Kill as the longest running song on the US Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart. Try saying that 3 times fast. Without reaching number 1 at 52 weeks.
Wow.
So you had that fact last episode. And now
I'm pretty sure they were just claiming that they were the band.
They were tying.
Does it surprise you?
So Face Down is notable for lyrics that detail suffering from a domestic abuse. Written by lead singer Ronnie, the song is about the domestic abuse that he and his brother lived through as children. He said the lyrics are deeply personal and he wants to help kids who are in similar situations cope.
That's funny because I was only thinking today, I was like, it's a very odd song if they hadn't been through something like that. You know, it's just like, where did they get that from?
Yeah, I think their dad abused their mom for years.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were abused as such, but I know they were like grew up in a household of abuse.
I was kind of more thinking, did they have like a girlfriend who was previously abused or something, the way it's written? But yeah, that makes sense.
No, it's their mom. So in May, they appeared at Bamboozle Festival. In July 2006, they released their debut studio album, Don't You Fake It, through Virgin Records. It was recorded in Water Music Recorders, Hoboken, New Jersey, and was produced by David Bendeth, who you may remember from so many of our previous episodes, because he also produced Hawthorne Heights, If Only You Were Lonely.
Love it.
Paramore's Riot.
Yes.
Under Oath's Lost in the Sound of Separation. A Day to Remember What Separates Me From You. Bring Me the Horizon Sempiternal. The Ghosts Inside Dear Youth. And We Came as Roman's self-titled album.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Who is this man?
He's been on every one of our episodes.
We haven't heard our mate in a while.
Yeah. Well, this guy's taken over, obviously. The album title is taken from a line in the opening track, In Fate's Hands. The album debuted at number 25 on the Billboard 200 and sold 25,000 copies in its first week. It received mixed reviews from critics, with a writer for Alternative Addiction calling the band's overall musicianship a mouth-watering hybrid of the best traits associated with bands like Under Oath, Story of the Year and the All-American Rejects, concluding that the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, I couldn't remember what T or J A stood for.
Traja.
I was like, The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus may lack innovation, but push all the right buttons in terms of merging popular rock genres. Did you listen to this album back in the day?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I have to say, still slaps.
It does.
I don't know how I found it or how I got into it.
No idea.
But I used to listen to it on repeat all the time back in the day in like 2007. I was obsessed with it.
Distinctly remember only having False Pretense and Face Down on my iPod for a while, which I must have downloaded off like LimeWire or something before I got the whole album. Did I have the physical album? I feel like I might have.
I did.
Yeah, I think
sure.
I might have. Yeah.
I can see it. Like
yeah, so can I. Yeah.
But yeah, listen back to it now.
Just singing along.
Every song is a banger. It's a really good album. I love it. Sometimes when I'm doing this and we have to listen to albums, it's like, okay, we'll listen to it. Okay, it's done now. I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and listen to that song.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back. And I kept enjoying going back.
I listen to it regularly anyway. Yeah.
So the tracklist shows a lineup change with original members Ronnie and Duke remaining, but Elias Reedy on lead guitar, Joey Westwood on bass, and John Wilkes on drums. In an early interview, this is really weird, vocalist Ronnie said, "Aliens came down and abducted the rest of our band members, so we weren't really sure what to do at that point. I called guitarist Elias, who's pretty knowledgeable on that topic, and he said, oh, we'll just replace them. So we did."
All right, Jared Leto.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means.
What the hell does that mean? Why is your man so knowledgeable?
I don't know.
Is he like aliens?
He was like, yes, that happened to my last band. They all got abducted too. The song In Fate's Hands is featured in the video game Madden NFL 07. Face Down is featured in the video games Saints Row 2 and MX vs ATV Untamed, and False Pretense is featured in the movies Never Back Down and Georgia Rule. So they had a lot of like mainstream kind of crossover.
A lot of video games, I think, have a lot of these bands in them that we just don't know.
Georgia Rule is a Lindsay Lohan movie.
Oh, thank God you know that, because I was about to be like, what the fuck?
I've seen it.
It's Never Back Down. Who's in that now?
Do you know what? I googled it when I wrote that, and now I can't remember.
Tatum or like
it might be something
Jessica
like that,
Alba or something.
But it looked like more of a manlier movie. Like it was giving me Fast and Furious vibes, I think.
Yeah.
So in August and September 2006, the band went on a headlining tour of the US to promote the album, and in November it was certified gold for selling 500,000 copies.
Wow.
I didn't realise they were that big ever.
I think I knew they were that big in America. I feel like they were never that big in the UK and Ireland.
Yeah, because I feel like you could say to someone who was only kind of on the border of the scene and be like, oh, I love my cam and Fall Out Boy, and they'd know who you're talking about. But if you said Red Jumpsuit, they'd be like, sorry?
They'd be like, oh, I remember them from that episode of The Hills.
In January 2007, they posted the music video for False Pretense online, and in February, the album was re-released as a deluxe edition alongside a DVD. In February and March 2007, they headlined the Take Action tour alongside Emery, Scary Kids Scaring Kids, and A Static Lullaby. Take Action is an annual spring tour which raises awareness for teen suicide prevention, with a portion of sales going to the cause. I wanted to include that because, first of all, they were raising awareness for domestic violence.
Yeah.
And they've done a couple of things with charities to do with that as well, not just like release a song. And then they were doing this. So I was like, they seem like good guys. And then in May, they performed at Fort Rucker, Alabama to help benefit the rebuilding of Enterprise High School after it was destroyed by a tornado. This is a really sad story. According to Ronnie, there was a girl on the prom committee at the school who got Your Guardian Angel approved as the prom song. He said, we were actually in Japan touring at the time of the tornado, and I got an email from a couple of the students because, yes, I actually check my emails. Weird thing to include. They hit me up on MySpace back when it was cool, and they told me the story and left me a link. I went to the link, and immediately my heart goes out to all the families and students who were affected by it. It was such a sad scenario. How random to just be sitting in school and this gnarly tornado just tears apart your school. Winds up taking 8 lives of your friends and students. It was really intense. We actually went there and toured the school, and we went back to the place where the building had fallen and said a prayer. It is intense just thinking back to it. So basically, it wasn't our idea, it was the students. They let us know our song was chosen, and the girl who actually got that to happen ended up losing her life in the tornado.
Jesus.
So how could we not? So we went and donated 100% of the money and 100% of the money from our merch that was sold that night, and we ended up raising over $100,000, which went directly to rebuilding the school. We never have put it out of our minds.
Wow.
Well, that was so nice.
But also, do you have like warnings about these tornadoes? Why were they in school?
I have no idea.
It seems random that they'd just be sitting there in this tornado that nobody had heard of just suddenly came and killed them all. That was really sad.
Yeah. They then went on the 2007 Bamboozle Fest and Warped Tour. The third single from the album, Your Guardian Angel, was released in August. They teamed up with Virgin Records to raise funds for the National Coalition for Domestic Violence, as I said.
Yeah, these guys.
They love a bit of charity work.
Love it.
They're also quite religious, hence that saying a prayer at the school thing.
Oh.
The band appeared in episode 8, season 3 of The Hills, For Better or Worse, where they undertook a photo shoot for Teen Vogue. Do you remember?
Yeah, do you remember that? It was so funny. And then weren't they like, you should come hang out after?
Yeah, and they went to a bar and they were all sitting there really awkwardly.
And they all have their like hair straightened and you can just see Lauren and Whitney are like...
It was such a setup, like.
Yeah.
So in February and March 2008, the band were booked to play the Australian Soundwave Festival. However, they were pulled out after the president of their label promised to pay money that was owed for the band to go to the studio to record their second album, but the money didn't come through. That's really confusing, and I read that about 8 times and I still don't really get it.
The president of... Who?
The president of the label was supposed to pay money for them to go to the studio or something, and then the money didn't come through.
So they just didn't pay...
So they just didn't go to the Soundwave Festival. I don't really know how that's related.
Was that like a protest?
I have no idea. In April 2008, they went on an acoustic tour along the US East Coast with the band Amaru, who were from their hometown.
Never
heard of them in my life. And in May 2008, they played Dublin, and I was there.
I can't believe I wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't remember the circumstances so much surrounding it. I know I went by myself.
Where was it?
The Mez.
What the fuck is the Mez?
In Temple Bar. It's like a bar.
Oh, yeah! Oh! That is so random.
I feel like, and I can't really remember specifics, I feel like I was on a date that day and I cannot remember with who. And then I was like, well, I've got to go and just go on a gig by myself. And I remember thinking I was like, so cool.
Yeah.
And he was probably like, wow, what a cool girl. He was probably like, what a fucking weirdo.
And then you're like, what band is it? And you're like, the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Yeah, and he was probably like, who?
And you're like, you know that band that does about like domestic violence?
They have a really good song about someone like getting beat up by their partner. Don't get any ideas, Charles. I don't know who Charles is. I've never been on a date with a guy called Charles.
Poor old Charles. Would you come all the way over to play Dublin and play in the Mez? I feel like they made no money off of that.
Yeah. It was tiny. Obviously, it was the Mez. It was tiny. I think I was in the front row without trying because there was only about 3 rows of people and I was short, so I just stood in the front. They played, like, obviously all their first album, which I loved. And afterwards, people were just walking up to them and were, like, talking to them. And I went up and I talked to Ronnie.
What?
I know.
You would never do that these days.
I know.
You're going to have to do
But obviously I had been on a date and I was like all the guys think I'm very cool. So I've got this newfound confidence. So I went up and I was like, I'm pretty sure I was just like, hey, good show. And he was like, oh, thanks so much for coming out. And I was like, well, I gotta go now. And he was like, oh. And I was like, okay, bye.
Please don't do that when we meet Census Fail, because we're going to meet Census Fail. Somebody needs to message them.
But I remember for years afterwards thinking like, the way I was like, I have to go. And he was like, oh. I was like, he sounded disappointed. And I was like, maybe he wanted to hang out. And then I was like, maybe he's kind of creepy. And then I felt really weird about the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus for years because of that.
What age was he?
Probably only a few years older than me. I think I must have been about 17.
Someone in a famous band who I'm not going to call out because I really like the band. I don't know if he's even still in it. I went to see them in Fibbers and he was messaging me on Twitter being like, are you coming to my hotel?
What?
But I was going out with someone at the time, so I didn't do that.
I don't know. I just got a vibe off him.
Wait, so now are we saying he's creepy?
And I felt like he was creepy. But I later found out, and when I say later, I mean literally like a couple of months ago, found out that he's autistic.
Oh.
And now I don't think he was creepy. I think he was being autistic. Like,
oh, right, okay. Hang on.
That sounds like that's not offensive to
clear,
autism.
We're not saying anyone who's autistic is creepy. We're just saying.
I think I misread
maybe
the signs.
Interaction. Yeah. And what to him was probably a very normal thing to say, you probably interpreted as like, not so normal.
And for years I was like, Jesus, I was only 17. And like he was probably like early 20s. Like I don't think there's that big of an age gap.
Yeah.
But I was like, how creepy, like he wanted to hang out or something.
Yeah.
And that was just the vibe I got. He didn't explicitly ask me to hang out either, for the record. So in December 2008, it was revealed that guitarist Elias Reedy had left the band 2 months earlier. However, he did record for their next album. Guitar tech Matt Carter replaced him. It's really cute because Matt Carter was like a big fan. He was a guitar tech and like loved them. And then they were like, hey, you want to just be in the band? And he was
Matt
like,
Carter is the most American name. Matt Carter.
In February 2009, they released their second studio album, Lonely Road, through Virgin Records. It was produced by Howard Benson, who you may know from My Chemical Romance,
we know Howard.
30 Years for Sweet Revenge, Hawthorne Heights, Skeletons, Escape the Fate, Hate Me, and I Am Human, and Simple Plan, Taking One for the Team. The album debuted at number 14 on the Billboard 200 and sold 26,000 copies in its first week. It received a mixed reception from critics. Rolling Stone's Christian Horde said, the band skips between emo pop and orchestral pomp while applying plenty of major label gloss. The result, much of the time the jumpsuits end up sounding like a lesser version of Hawthorne Heights. While AllMusic writer Andrew Leahy panned the album, saying, Don't You Fake It may have suffered from a lack of variety, but Lonely Road is plagued by different diseases. Misguided ambition, outlandish excess, and a bad case of the old sophomore slump.
God, that's a poor man's Hawthorne Heights. Now that's...
Well, what did you think of this album?
I kind of thought it was like a poor man's first album.
I couldn't believe it because I've only ever listened to Don't You Fake It. So I was kind of like, oh, I hope they've got some good other songs that I haven't discovered yet.
No.
And I put this on, and from the very first song, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It sounds like a rock album, like a classic rock or something.
It was like they were trying to achieve what they had on the first album, and it just never got to it.
I think they went a little bit more experimental, and it did not work at all. At all.
I had listened to this album before, but they're the only two albums I've listened to before from them.
So after the album's release, the band toured Asia, playing the Soundwave Festival in Australia, and then toured the US with Secondhand Serenade. In March 2009, they released an EP titled Shock Session through Virgin, featuring acoustic versions of some of their songs. Which nobody asked for.
No.
At the end of May 2009, they announced, along with Hollywood Undead, Mest, and The Sleeping, that they would be doing a summer tour for the months of June and July, playing mostly club and small venue shows, and they then rejoined Monty R.I., who I've never heard of.
What?
Monty R.I.
What does that mean?
I don't know. See,
Monty R.I. Oh.
For an August 2009 tour throughout Canada and California.
Hollywood Undead, there's a blast from the past.
Oh, very cancelled band.
Yeah, I would assume so. But they did have those two songs that I loved. I can't remember them, but...
In February 2010, the band announced that they had left Virgin Records, citing the poor promotion of their Lonely Road album as the reason. They decided that they would rather release music independently. On Valentine's Day 2010, they released their song Valentine for free. I'm like, you're giving out that you're not making money through your label, so you release a song for free. Make it make sense.
Do you think they're like, you just didn't promote it, or is it like, it's just actually shit and nobody wants to buy it?
Yeah, it doesn't live up to your first album.
Yeah.
They released another single called Choke in June. Again, free to download. This song was the first release from their EP, The Hell or High Water, which they self-released in August 2010. They released a music video for Choke the same month, which was part of a 3-video series. Alongside Don't Hate and Hell or High Water, the trio of videos show characters killing record executive type personnel, running from the police, and then dying in the final video. The moral was, violence never solves anything.
Yeah, I feel like that's a bit contradictory, no? I feel like that whole music video sounds like it's them killing people and trying to solve things through violence.
I like the idea of like connected music videos because Fall Out Boy did that. They had their little series. But I don't know, the fact that they're like killing record executives after just leaving their label, it just seems really childish to me or something.
Yeah. Cringe.
Yeah,
bit
really.
cringe.
So when asked why they decided to release an EP instead of a new album, Ronnie stated that they just wanted to test the water. He stated, "We've never released something on this scale by ourselves before. You know, it's always good to feel the water before diving in. And also, we have so many new songs that we couldn't fit them onto a double album. We were like, let's take 6 or 7 songs we think are just really sick and that we think are awesome and just throw them out there right now and see if people take them and jam to them. Then we'll take the other 12 to 20 songs and we'll make an album."
What if people didn't, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
What were you going to do with those? Huh?
In July 2011, vocalist Ronnie announced that both guitarists, founding member Duke Kitchens and newest member ex-guitar tech Matt Carter, had left the band.
No, not Matt.
To focus on their personal lives.
Oh, Matt.
And this is another longtime fan of the band, Josh Burke, joined as lead guitarist. He was just a fan, he didn't work with them before. Ronnie's brother, Randy Winter, was later added as rhythm guitarist.
Randy Winter. Who named their child that?
I hope I'm having a Randy Winter this year. Wait. Well, who has kids and calls them Ronnie and Randy? That's the real question. I just want to talk to their mom. I hope she's okay.
She's not okay.
I know, she's not okay. In August 2011, they released their third studio album, Am I the Enemy?, produced by John Feldman.
Oh, he's back, baby.
I knew he was coming up, but I didn't want to spoil it.
Because you didn't say much when I said that.
I was like, interesting. John also mixed the album, as well as co-writing all of the songs with Ronnie.
John.
I'm going to say, I didn't hear him on it. I didn't hear his magic touch.
Oh, I thought you meant like
because I don't like this album.
I don't think he sings.
Did you like this album?
No, I didn't like any of them, to be fair.
Me neither.
It's the same with the first one. I just felt like they were trying to recreate something and they just never quite got there.
I felt like I had it on in the background while I was on my way to work. And like, it would be fine. It wouldn't irritate me. I wouldn't be like, oh, I have to turn this off.
All of them were fine.
It was just like, meh.
There was nothing, like there was no songs on it that you were like, oh, this is a banger.
Yeah.
It was just exactly like that. You have it on in the background and you'd kind of forget about it. Forgettable, I would say.
Yeah, it was absolutely fine, but like nothing stood out about it.
Imagine It was absolutely fine. Like,
It's said that the album marks a return to the aggressive post-hardcore sound of their debut album, as opposed to the polished hard rock featured on Lonely Road. It received generally mixed reviews and charted at number 61 in the US. The album was recorded in November and December of the previous year, and so featured original guitarists Duke and Matt. In October 2011, drummer John Wilkes decided to depart from the band in order to pursue new things and make a living as a producer.
don't blame you.
I don't know if, like, is it because the band was so meh and wasn't getting anywhere that everyone was leaving, or, like, was there something going on in the band, is what I
I'd
wonder.
say it's because they're so meh. Like, they're not really that successful.
Yeah, they weren't, like, making a living off it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
According to Wilkes, he left the band on good terms and wished them the best in their future endeavours. He was temporarily replaced by Christopher Comeau while the band was touring, but Christopher departed shortly after.
Oh, God.
They just can't keep anyone.
This is as bad as, like, Paramore.
Yeah. In March 2013, they released a new EP for digital download called Et tu brut, which
Is that your French? Duolingo.
which was produced by David Bendeth, who had also produced Don't You Fake It. I actually didn't listen to that. I wanted to see if it sounded more like their older stuff, but I forgot.
I did not listen.
In October 2013, when announcing that a new album was in the works, the band also announced that Matt Carter was returning to play guitar for it. They posted a Facebook. It's true. Never thought we would say this, but Matt Carter is back.
He's back, baby!
On lead guitar for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. Winky face. He has been with the band twice before, in 2005 and also from 2008 to 2011, and is widely known as the sickest RJA lead player to date, which is a bit of a sick burn.
Shade.
We will be recording our fourth album, 4, with Matt, and are delighted to share the stage with him once again. We wish Josh all the luck in the world with school and other life opportunities.
Oh, hang on, that's
Ron.
real. That's real. I'd be raging if I was the other lead guitarist.
Yes, you're the best podcast host I've ever been with. In July 2014, they self-released their fourth studio album, 4, also produced by David Bendeth. Vocalist Ronnie cites this as his favourite album, despite the success of Don't You Fake It. Although then I read another interview where he was like, I think the most recent one is always my favourite. So he might have just said that in the interview because it was recent. In 2016, the band went on a world tour to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Don't You Fake It, playing the album in full.
I would love that.
Yeah, I would go and see them if they were going to do that.
Yeah.
It's probably the only time that I would.
I think if they played here, I'd go see them just to tick them off the list.
I'd be like, hey, remember me? I thought you were weird. Never mind. Never mind. In a 2017 interview with Ronnie, he was asked how he felt about being labelled an emo band. I just included this because it was funny. He replied, on our Facebook bio, under where it says genre, we have ha 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 in caps. So we don't really try to fit into a genre. In fact, every record we've made was always somewhat different from the last.
True. That's true.
If you look at Your Guardian Angel and The Grim Goodbye, it sounds like two different bands. One is a 6/8 power ballad and the other is an 8-minute post-hardcore song. From the beginning, we showed that we had a rather random approach to how we write. You can call us whatever you want, so long as you listen to the music.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is fair, because they do sound different, but they'll always be an emo band in my head.
Yeah, they're an emo band.
Because Don't You Fake It.
Yeah.
In March 2018, they self-released their fifth studio album, The Awakening, co-produced by vocalist Ronnie and his wife.
Oh, that's cute.
So his wife, I should have written down her name, but I did not. She's also like a singer and songwriter and stuff like that.
Cool.
So they work together now.
That's real cute.
It's only 10 songs, 33 minutes long. I didn't think this was that bad. I mean, it wasn't good
This is
either.
the last album.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it. I was listening to it and it made me want to die. Like, I just thought the lyrics are so cringe. I hate that. It's like, it was fine when I was 17 and the lyrics were cringe. But now I'm like, I don't know if it's just me listening to them at the age I am now. And if I'd listened to it when I was 17, maybe I wouldn't have thought they're so cringe.
I know what you mean.
But I listen to them, I'm like, oh no, it's like, go out and look at the stars. They're like your eyes.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of like, they're trying to be uplifting.
Yeah, I just wasn't
But
feeling
like,
that.
it's not really working.
No.
In September 2018, an Australian tour was announced to be taking place in December of the same year, featuring support from Australian band The Comfort. In December 2018, the band surprise dropped a new song entitled Land Down Under, which later was confirmed to be a cover song by Men at Work.
I don't know who they are.
Land Down Under. You know the song.
Yeah! I haven't heard that. I need to hear that.
I actually haven't listened to their version.
Oh, that's so good. Oh.
In 2020, they self-released yet another EP, this one called the Emergency EP. It contains 2 previously released singles from 2020, Brace Yourself and A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Called LA, along with 4 new tracks. The Emergency EP marks a number of firsts for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. After it had been suggested to them by other bands, I can't call them the RJA, the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus recorded their new songs in the back of their touring coach. This time out, guitarist Josh Burke wrote much of the music. Drummer John Espy did the mixes, leaving Ronnie to focus on the words and the melodies. Ronnie's support of Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQIA+ community comes to a fever pitch on the track Don't Buy Into It. A devout Christian, his idea of religion is far more inclusive than what the gatekeepers preach. So I read a couple of interviews. He talks a lot about religion, like they're really religious.
I wouldn't have said that.
But he's very like, as you know, supporting all the charities and supporting everything and everybody. And he's like, well, Jesus loves everyone, so why would he not love gay people or, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
so he's actually
that is what
on the good
want.
side of religion.
Yes, please.
Not like what's going on with like the Taliban at the minute where they're making the women like completely cover everything. And
sorry, the way you said that, like, what's going on with the Taliban at the minute? Like, like what is up with those guys?
So did you see this?
I did, yeah. What is it?
The new laws. The women aren't allowed to be heard like speaking or reading or singing in public.
So they're all singing. Yeah, I saw that. They're all like defying them, yeah.
Insane. Bad Religion, which is another band. Not featured in this episode. At around this time, vocalist Ronnie did an interview at Music Injection where he said, I mean, a lot of my friends are dead. Too much partying, too much drinking, too much drugging. A lot of other bands who were doing well when we began are broken up, dead or in jail. So for me, personal growth was a must, or I was going to die, and I didn't want to. I wanted to stay alive. I went through a metamorphosis, like most rockers do, into sobriety about 5 years ago. I've done really good since then. So to answer your question, I need to keep doing this. There does come a time when you've done enough shows, you've made enough money, you're good. You really don't have to do this unless you just love it. And that's when an artist goes the way of the dark way or the good way. Eventually, everything is either a bonus or a hindrance. I have a lot of wants, but not a lot of needs.
Yeah, I like that.
But I'm still like, how much money are they making off this?
Yeah, I am kind of, because everything has been self-released.
Yeah. Do
you think maybe that's why they're not so successful? Because it's all self-released?
No, I just don't think the music's very good anymore.
Fair.
He also told a story about meeting Angela. You may know her name from the song.
Is that his wife?
Yeah. So
you did write her name down.
Oh, yeah. Never put 2 and 2 together. Wow. I'm a songwriter in addition to writing for the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I write for other artists. I was flown out to LA and met a girl in the studio named Angela. He went on to say he was surprised to see her running everything and he became intrigued.
Why is he surprised? Because she's a woman?
He goes on to clarify that it isn't that he didn't believe women could do those type of jobs, but that it is just so uncommon that he's not seen it before. He called it a unique day. While they didn't speak much then, the next time they crossed paths, they ended up on a first date, and he ended up with a song, which is A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Called LA.
Cute.
I actually went and listened to that song intentionally, like to read the lyrics to be like, okay, did he write? And it's I think he was saying something like, he's talking about it's a first date, but he's talking about like, forever I love you and all. I was like, bit over the top. Bit much. First date.
Yeah, but he's religious. You all know they get married after like a week.
So in 2021, guitarist... Oh, this story is insane, okay? This is like sidetrack, but like, it's crazy. In 2021, guitarist Randy Winters, so Ronnie's brother, made headlines when he was labelled as instrumental in the finding of a missing person in his local area.
True crime, I love it!
The Clay County Sheriff's Office posted about the missing man, David Willard, in the Middleburg area. And when Randy learned that investigators were scouring the woods near his house with ATVs and a helicopter, he decided to lend a hand, seeing as he was really familiar with the area. He credited his trained ears, tuned by years of being a musician, for being able to hear the missing man. Once the ATVs passed, Randy hung on to listen for any sounds and was convinced that he heard something that nobody else had. It turned out to be David calling for help, and he was eventually found and returned home.
What? That's so weird.
The weirdest thing about the article was how much they went on about, like, his trained musical ears.
Hang on, did they not have, like, sniffer dogs and all that good?
They were on ATVs and had a helicopter.
I could just imagine all the ATVs passing him being like...
Yeah, he had to wait because he couldn't hear, even with his trained ears, with the, like, loud, like, going by.
That is hilarious.
And then he was like... and then he heard him.
Oh, that is so funny.
Apparently, like, he heard something and he was like, what's that? And everyone was like, I don't hear anything. And he was like, I do. But he found him in the end, so that was good.
I'm happy for David.
In October 2022, they re-released a new symphonic version of Face Down and released a new music video with the same actress from the original 2006 video. The clip features several callbacks to the original video, even opening with a nearly identical shot of the central character entering her home from behind, eventually stopping to take stock of herself in a bathroom mirror. But unlike the original video, which sought to convey the chaos of being in a violent relationship, the clip for the symphonic version finds out what happens to the original character years later, now carving out a life of her own while still finding ways to cope with the violence of her past. Benefits from the single went to DomesticShelters.org, a charity providing the largest searchable database of domestic violence shelters and programs in the US and Canada, as well as one of the most extensive sources of educational content, such as comprehensive guides, videos, and articles.
I love that.
That was really cool. But I love the idea of the video going back to like explore the
really
character
like
more. And to get the exact same actress as well. That's really cool. I actually want to watch them back to back, but again, I forgot.
Didn't do that.
And now Ronnie's bio labels him as autistic and also a sober emo goat.
Sorry, I love labels him as autistic.
His bio on Instagram, like he wrote it himself, obviously. And I don't know what an emo goat is, but is it greatest of all time?
Yeah, I only found that out recently.
Well, I know that's what it means, but I don't know if he's calling himself the goat. I think he's just
an emo goat. Does he look like a goat?
I mean, kind of. He's rather odd looking. Maybe a little goatish.
He looked like a goat.
But I remember actually reading an article about him being autistic like a couple of months ago, and then I was like, oh, okay, maybe that explains what I had with him, like that conversation. But then I couldn't find the article again. It was like deleted.
So I think there's a few bands, mostly him and is it Mayday Parade? Like they all just kind of look like the same person. So there's him, right? Which one's his brother? With the ears?
I have no idea.
And then
you'd see the ears a mile away. You'd know it was him.
Mayday Parade. Like same band, no?
Oh yeah, same vibes.
And who was that other one? Pierce the Veil, maybe? Pierce the Veil. Wait for it.
Oh no, they look different.
Oh, they do look different, to be fair. Maybe no. He doesn't look like too much of a goat.
So the band are currently touring the US and will be playing at When We Were Young Fest in October.
Everyone is playing at that.
Where they will be playing Don't You Fake It in Full.
Of course they will. Fuck yes. Who is going to that? I want to know.
I wish it was me. They're not perverts. Spoiler alert.
Yay!
No pervert stories.
Delighted with life.
But there is a little bit of controversy.
Oh, always.
From 10 years ago.
Ah.
So in April 2014, a photograph of Matt Carter playing with the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus at a live show was posted to the band's Facebook page.
Oh, I know this. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I think so. If what you're going to say is...
So the photo had been altered and cropped out the watermark of the Australian photographer Rohan Anderson. Rohan contacted the band, explaining that the photo was being used without permission and requesting the photo be removed or a licensing fee to be paid. A member of the band responded, refusing to remove or pay for the photo, and through further exchanges went on to ridicule Rohan and threaten him with legal action, which is obviously not cool.
Yeah, I can't remember where I read that, but I think... Was there a tweet? And they responded with some really like cringy, childish tweet. And I was like, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah, like, no, they fought him for a long time and everybody was like, no guys, you're the assholes here. And I think they eventually backed down.
But what a stupid thing. Like, just take the photo down.
Yeah.
Or just credit him. It's just a bloody photo. How good was the photo? Like, yeah. Well, look, if that's the worst thing they've done.
Yeah, that is literally the worst thing they've done.
We're okay with that.
Which was shitty, but I think they backed down from it eventually. So they learned their lesson.
Fair play to them.
Fair play.
So no controversy, really. No perverts. Delighted. No, what was the other thing? No loss. Well, that was kind of a lawsuit, was it? Not against the record label.
They love to give to charity. And they just seem like really...
That's cute.
Down-to-earth people kind of thing. Not loving the music, but they're all right. They're not cancelled.
Did you enjoy listening to them? Will you go back and listen to them again?
Only their first album. The rest of it I won't ever listen to again.
Nothing else will change.
And now all my daily mix on Spotify features them loads because I've been listening to all their albums and I have to keep skipping.
I totally get what you mean about the algorithm being fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. What's your song to repeat?
My song on repeat, it was actually really hard to choose one because I like so many, but in the end I went for Justify.
Which one's that?
Because it starts off like quite heavy, then it's like Justify.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
So I just like being boring. I didn't want to go for an obvious one, but also didn't want to lie because I'm not going to repeat any songs whatsoever ever if it's not from the first album. So the song is In Fate's Hands.
Okay. Oh, I like this. I thought you were going to say Face Down. I was like, oh, come on.
No.
It's a little bit overplayed. Yeah. A little bit.
Can't remember the name of the one.
The one that I want to skip is called Jesus is a Rock Star.
That's yes. Literally.
Which I really feel like
is that
said.
on 4?
I think so.
Yeah. That, and I just couldn't get over the fact it was called the title of it. I was like, what is this? So I just had a preformed opinion before I even put it on. I was like, no.
No, I think I was listening to it and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I took out my phone and said Jesus is a Rock Star. I was like, well, that explains everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely not listening to that
So I don't
again.
think we'll be repeating those albums anytime soon. No. It was nice to go back.
It was. And like they had some interesting stories. So where are we going next time?
Okay, I need to check because I keep getting confused. So again,
you don't know what band you're doing.
Yeah, because I keep getting confused because there's so many bands with similar names. So I had picked out a band. I picked out a band and then I was like, no. And then I picked out another one and I was like, it is the most random band. But I'm going to save that one for another time. So who we're actually going to do is The Story So Far.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's current, you know. They supported Blink-182 the other night. Mm-hmm. And I do quite like them. So...
Was it them that supported Blink? Because I keep getting confused.
Yeah, see, no, now that I'm saying it, I'm like, was it Story
no,
of
I
the
feel
Year?
like Story of the Year supported Blink.
Hang on, let me just...
But I keep mixing them up as well, to be
That's
fair.
why I had to check. I was like, which band was it? Hang on, let me check. Maybe it was Story So Far. No, hang on, that's the band I'm doing.
We're doing one band next week.
Wait,
Could
guys.
be either.
We'll figure it out.
We'll see. We'll be halfway through the episode and realise that she's talking about the wrong band.
Yeah, literally. Hang on. Story So Far. It was the Story So Far.
Was it?
So yeah. Because I don't think I like Story of the Year.
I don't know either of them, to be fair. So I'm about to.
Yeah, I think they have 5 albums, I think.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. So I'm excited.
Well, even though we're not as great at being on schedule as we once
Guys,
were.
who needs a schedule? Just live life. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
I'm tired. Life is like...
we're so
I was
tired.
going to say life's hard. Life's not hard, but like adulting...
It is hard. I'm trying to be an
tiring.
adult. And all I want to do is what AI said I want to do and just be an emo forever being misunderstood by my parents.
I'm just tired all the time.
Just kidding.
I'm at home, like, going asleep early.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, Claire, I can't record. I'm so tired. Because we were going to do this last week, and then I was too tired, honestly.
Yeah, but it's fine, guys. Sometimes you're too tired, and you just need to be able to recognize when you're tired.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you can still keep up with us on social media. We are Foundations of Emo on...
everything.
Basically, except for Foundations Emo on X. Although I'm really thinking of deleting that lately.
Yeah.
But we are on Facebook, Instagram, and...
everything else.
TikTok.
We do have an email address if you ever want to email us.
Yeah. foundationsofemo@gmail.com.
And also, you should have stories from the story so far because you've all gone to see them now because you all went to Blink.
Yeah,
So
send
you
us
can
your
tell
stories.
us all.
I do put up the box shortly before the episode. But yeah, get your stories in before then. You don't have to wait for me to put up the box on Instagram.
Yeah. And
Let
just
us
come
know.
say hi.
And yeah, thanks so much for listening and sticking with us.
And we'll see you around. Okay, bye.